No, he's such a loving boy, really loving, energetic, life and soul of the party.
A grieving mother at her son's grave. Stacey O'Donnell's son Tai was stabbed to death by his abusive girlfriend. But court delays, a COVID backlog and a cancelled first trial last September due to the barristers' strike meant they ended up waiting nearly 2 years for a trial.
I'd spent months worrying about what might happen, overthinking different scenarios about how the trial might play out. And then it came to September and, I hadn't been sleeping all year. I've been waking up, I kid you not, 4, 5 o'clock every day, waking up, anxiety, really going through it. It's not until the trial has passed that I can actually feel how much weight has been lifted.
But it's not just victims and their families who are harmed by these delays. Also waiting months, if not years, for their day in court are the defendants, some of whom can spend that entire time behind bars, with latest figures showing that the number of people being held on remand is at its highest point for 50 years.
A defendant being held in prison before their trial shouldn't spend more than 6 months on remand. But Emma Lewis represented one client who was jailed for 18 months, only to be found innocent.
The same day that the jury went out to consider their verdict, they returned a not guilty verdict because it was clear he was not guilty. And then he was just released with no support, nothing. We had to have him assessed because we were concerned. He became very introvert. He would struggle to speak.
Given the backlog, the Justice Committee has called on the government to review the law around remand prisoners, but they rejected several key recommendations.
These are people who have not been convicted of anything, and a percentage of them, reasonable percentage of them, will ultimately not be convicted statistically.
A Ministry of Justice spokesperson said, remanded defendants are now waiting 15 weeks for trial on average, and we are investing almost £500 million to reduce the outstanding caseload in the courts. For Stacey, the guilty verdict is late but welcome, and it means she can finally prioritise the biggest fight of all, coming to terms with the loss of her beloved son. Rachel Venables, Sky News.